Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you're part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a story that will leave you thinking. And if you love inspiring tales, a like goes a long way. You're not on the list. 3 simple words that shattered Alex's world. The young man's fingers tightened around the wheels of his chair, rain dripping from his soaked jacket onto the already wet pavement. Behind the volunteer's shoulder, Alex could see the empty seats in the half-filled auditorium where Elon Musk would soon speak. The community college looked different today. Security personnel at every entrance, volunteers with clipboards, and an atmosphere of importance that rarely graced this forgotten corner of the city. Alex had wheeled himself 3 miles through the rain for this moment, his question burning in his pocket, written and rewritten a dozen times. The volunteer's voice grew firmer. "I'm sorry, but admittance is strictly by selection. Fire regulations and security protocols." A small crowd began to gather behind Alex, umbrellas creating a dark canopy in the morning drizzle. A college administrator stood nearby, eyes fixed on her shoes. That's when the back door opened, and a tall figure flanked by security emerged. The murmuring stopped. Elon Musk had arrived early, walking briskly toward the side entrance, when he noticed the commotion. If this moment made you feel something, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button and stay with us. Subscribe now. Alex Rivera had imagined this day for months. A 19-year-old physics major with a passion for sustainable energy, he'd spent weeks crafting the perfect question about neural interfaces and renewable power grids. His professors had smiled patronizingly when he'd mentioned attending. Everyone knew these events were for donors and selected students from wealthier institutions. But Alex had applied anyway. His application essay written between night shifts at the convenience store that helped pay for his textbooks. The volunteer, a woman in her 30s wearing a lanyard that read "Event Staff," checked her tablet again. "I'm sorry, but your name isn't here. We have limited capacity, and all attendees were pre-selected." Her voice carried the practiced tone of someone who had delivered disappointing news many times that morning. Behind her, the college administrator shifted uncomfortably, rain pattering on her umbrella, but said nothing. Perhaps she was thinking about funding, donations, the complex politics of having a billionaire visit their struggling institution. "But I submitted weeks ago," Alex said, his voice barely audible above the rain hitting the pavement. "I've been preparing my question about neural interface applications for sustainable energy networks." A few onlookers had stopped, phones discreetly raised, capturing the moment when a kid in a wheelchair was being denied entry. Social media's algorithm hungry for another injustice to amplify. The small crowd behind Alex grew restless, some whispering about the empty seats clearly visible through the glass doors. The volunteer's expression softened slightly, but her stance remained firm. "I understand, but we have strict attendance protocols." She lowered her voice. "There's the matter of accommodations we weren't prepared for." Alex felt his face burn. It wasn't the first time his wheelchair had made him an inconvenience. Near the building's corner, Elon Musk paused mid-stride, his security detail stopping abruptly around him. Something in the scene had caught his attention, perhaps the unusual cluster of people, or the lone figure in the wheelchair at its center. He turned, eyes narrowing slightly as he assessed the situation unfolding at the entrance. The rain intensified, drumming against umbrellas and soaking through Alex's jacket. His notes, carefully printed that morning, were growing damp in his pocket. Years of navigating a world not built for him had taught Alex when to fight and when to retreat. This seemed like a moment for the latter. He began to turn his wheelchair, the wheels catching slightly on the wet concrete when a murmur rippled through the crowd. People straightened, expressions changing, phones raising higher. Elon Musk was walking directly toward them, his security detail scrambling to keep pace. The college administrator snapped to attention, quickly adjusting her blazer. The volunteer's eyes widened in recognition. For Alex, the world seemed to slow down. The billionaire innovator whose work had inspired his own studies was approaching, his expression unreadable but intensely focused. Onlookers parted as Musk came closer, his tall figure commanding an immediate presence despite the simple black jacket and jeans he wore. No one spoke. The only sounds were the persistent rain and the squeak of Alex's wheelchair as he turned back to face what was happening. Things are about to take a turn. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe, like our video, and keep watching. What's the problem here? Musk's voice was direct, lacking the polish of corporate PR but carrying an undeniable authority. The volunteer straightened immediately, her clipboard pressed against her chest like a shield. "Mr. Musk, we're just managing the approved attendance list," she explained, her professional demeanor straining under his sudden attention. "This student isn't registered for today's event." Elon's gaze shifted to Alex, taking in the wheelchair, the rain-soaked clothes, and, most importantly, the folder of notes clutched in his hands. "You came prepared," he stated, not a question but an observation. "Yes, sir," Alex replied, his voice steadier than he expected. "I've been following your work on neural interfaces and sustainable energy. I have questions about integration paths that haven't been addressed in your published papers." A subtle change crossed Musk's expression, a flicker of genuine interest. The administrator stepped forward, her smile too wide. "Mr. Musk, we should proceed inside. Your schedule is quite tight and the selected attendees are waiting." "Selected?" Musk repeated, looking past her to the half-empty auditorium. His eyes narrowed slightly. "Who exactly did the selecting?" The administrator's smile faltered. "We prioritized top students and faculty members most aligned with your fields of interest." She hesitated. "And of course, our institutional donors who made this visit possible." A phone chimed with a notification. Someone had already posted a video. Hashtags would follow. $wheelchair denied or Musk event. The digital amplification had begun. The crowd had grown, students and locals gathering at the edges, sensing something significant unfolding. "So, empty seats and donors took priority over students with actual questions?" Musk asked, his tone deceptively casual. His security team exchanged glances, accustomed to their boss's unpredictable moments. The rain continued steadily, but no one moved. Alex felt a strange calm descend. Perhaps it was the absurdity of the situation, being soaked to the skin while Elon Musk himself questioned why he couldn't attend a lecture. Or perhaps it was seeing someone with such immense power confronting the same bureaucratic walls he hit daily. "The facility has accessibility limitations," the administrator added quietly, as if this explained everything. "We weren't properly prepared for special accommodations." Musk's expression hardened imperceptibly. "Special accommodations," he repeated, the words hanging in the rain-filled air. A security guard leaned toward Musk, whispering something about schedules and protocols. Musk waved him off, his focus unwavering. "What's your name?" he asked Alex directly. "Alexander Rivera, sir. Physics major. Second year." "And you wheeled yourself here in the rain to ask questions about neural interfaces and power grids." There was a hint of something in his voice. Not pity, but recognition. The recognition of determination. 3 miles, Alex said simply. It seemed worth it. A murmur rippled through the growing crowd. Phones captured every word, every expression. The volunteer looked increasingly uncomfortable, caught between protocols and the unfolding reality. The administrator's face had gone pale. understanding that whatever happened next would likely define both her career and the college's public image. Musk turned to survey the half-empty auditorium through the glass doors, then back to the growing crowd outside in the rain. His eyes lingered on Alex's folder of notes, now protected under his jacket. Something shifted in his expression, a decision crystallizing. Those familiar with Musk recognized the look, the moment when convention was about to be discarded in favor of something more interesting, more direct, more disruptive. Without another word, he stepped toward Alex's wheelchair. This story is only getting deeper. What would you do in this situation? Comment below, and let's talk. Cancel the auditorium, Musk said abruptly. His security team exchanged alarmed glances. The administrator's mouth opened, then closed without words. "Sir?" the head of security questioned. "If this college doesn't have proper accommodations," Musk continued, his voice carrying clearly despite the rain, "then we're in the wrong venue." He turned to address the growing crowd directly. "The lecture's moving outside. Everyone's welcome." A beat of stunned silence followed, then a wave of reactions: disbelief, excitement, confusion. The administrator stepped forward. "Mr. Musk, we have arrangements inside. The technology, the presentations, "I don't need slides to talk about the future," Musk interrupted. "And apparently, your auditorium doesn't need all its seats filled." The comment landed precisely, drawing a few gasps and nervous laughter from the crowd. Alex sat frozen, unable to process what was happening. Musk turned to him again. "You had questions about neural interfaces and power grids? Good. You can ask first." He gestured to his security team. "Find us some cover from this rain. We're doing this here." What happened next unfolded with the chaotic efficiency that seemed to follow Elon Musk everywhere. Security personnel quickly established a perimeter under the wide overhang of the science building's entrance. Students rushed to grab chairs from nearby classrooms, arranging them in a semicircle. Someone found a maintenance ladder that became Musk's impromptu stage. The rain continued, but nobody seemed to care anymore. The college's tech team scrambled to set up a simple microphone system. The crowd had tripled. Students, faculty, community members, all drawn by rapidly spreading texts and social media alerts. Elon Musk just moved his lecture outside because they wouldn't let a guy in a wheelchair in? The story was already traveling beyond the campus. Alex found himself positioned at the front of the gathering. The administrator hovered at the edges, her career visibly flashing before her eyes. The volunteer had disappeared entirely. Musk stood on the makeshift platform, seemingly energized rather than annoyed by the change. "Today was supposed to be about innovation," he began, voice carrying across the now silent crowd. "But innovation isn't just technology. It's about how we approach problems." His gaze swept across the impromptu audience, lingering briefly on Alex. "Sometimes the most important innovations are in how we treat people." A hush fell over the crowd as Musk continued. "The companies I build aren't valuable because of their technology alone. They're valuable because they solve real problems for real people." He paused, surveying the diverse crowd gathered in the rain. When we talk about changing the world, we often focus on the big, flashy innovations. But sometimes, it's the smallest decisions that reveal our true priorities. The rain had eased to a gentle drizzle, almost as if the weather itself was pausing to listen. Phones recorded from every angle, live streams connecting this moment to thousands beyond the physical gathering. What had begun as an awkward confrontation was transforming into something else, a masterclass in leadership that no one had anticipated. "Now," Musk said, turning directly to Alex, "you mentioned neural interfaces and power grids. I'm interested in your question." He stepped down from the ladder, moving to stand near Alex's wheelchair, creating a moment of equality rather than speaking down from a platform. The crowd leaned forward collectively, witnessing the billionaire innovator giving his full attention to the student who had been deemed unworthy of entry just 30 minutes earlier. Alex took a deep breath and pulled out his rain-dampened notes. His voice, when he began to speak, was clear and confident, the voice of someone who finally had the chance to be heard. "It's not over yet. The best part is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it." What followed was not just a lecture, but a conversation. Alex's question about neural interfaces and renewable energy systems revealed a depth of understanding that visibly impressed Musk. Their exchange sparked further questions from the crowd, unfiltered, diverse, coming from students who would never have made the selected list. Musk seemed to thrive in this environment, more engaged than he might have been with a carefully curated audience. The impromptu event lasted nearly 2 hours. As it concluded, Musk turned to Alex again. "You should email me your full thoughts on this. We're looking for interns who think differently." He handed Alex a card with a direct email address, not a generic company contact, but a personal one. The moment was captured by dozens of cameras, already spreading across social platforms with captions about meritocracy and authentic leadership. The college administrator approached as the crowd began to disperse, her expression a complex mix of damage control and unexpected opportunity. "Mr. Musk, I want to personally apologize for the confusion earlier. If you'd be willing to reschedule a proper indoor event." Musk cut her off with a small shake of his head. This was the proper event. His words were quiet but carried weight. "Your college has brilliant minds like Alex here, but your systems aren't recognizing them. That's a design flaw worth fixing." He looked around at the diverse crowd that had gathered. Today was supposed to be about the future of technology, but it became something more important, a lesson about who we include in that future. By evening, the story had gone viral. Major tech publications picked it up first. "Musk moves lecture outside after student in wheelchair denied entry." Social media amplified it further with clips of the moment spreading across platforms. The narrative resonated beyond the original event. It became a conversation about accessibility, about who gets included in innovation, about leadership that backs words with actions. For the college, the initial embarrassment transformed into an unexpected opportunity. The administration, recognizing both the PR disaster and the chance for redemption, announced a comprehensive review of their accessibility policies and the establishment of a new scholarship program focused on students with disabilities entering STEM fields. 2 months later, Alex Rivera was sitting in a Tesla conference room, presenting his ideas to a team of engineers. The internship had come through, not as a PR stunt, but because his questions that rainy morning had revealed genuine insight. His wheelchair, once seen as an inconvenience to be managed, was irrelevant to his contributions. The video of that day continued to circulate, becoming a case study in business schools about crisis management and authentic leadership. But its most profound impact was on the thousands of students with disabilities who saw it as validation, evidence that their perspectives were not just accommodations to be managed, but valuable viewpoints to be sought out. Elon Musk referenced the incident months later during a major technology conference. "Innovation doesn't come from comfortable rooms filled with people who all think alike," he said. "It comes from diverse perspectives, from minds that navigate the world differently. Sometimes the most valuable insights come from people who have to innovate just to navigate their daily lives." He paused, allowing his words to resonate. "The future we're building has to include everyone, not because it's nice, but because it's necessary. True innovation requires all voices at the table. Anything less is just a design flaw waiting to be fixed." Wow, what a story! If this moved you, imagine what else we have for you. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think.